Welcome to Sunday Night Small Talk. I'm Hegemony, and today we have two topics. The first being the invasion of Sky and the Skyverse, and the second being the delay of the Week 8 update. Let's jump in. So Sky, just like in Infinity War and Endgame, she got straight up snapped out of existence and this time came back with the entire multiverse. For what reason? I don't know. She just exists in it.
Marvel on crack.
But, you know, Skyverse is way more interesting than most of the other repeat trends such as cough cough, Pibby, cough cough, Suicide Mouse, David Baby. It's a lot more. It feels a lot more fresh. It's 10 times better than that kind of stuff. We're going to be doing the Skyverse next, anyways, because I don't know. I want to check it out. Go back to the OG type of thing, a new coat of paint, basically.
It is pretty interesting compared to the other ones. I have to agree.
Yeah, because this, sure, there's like a million different Sky mods or whatever, but at least there's more originality to it. It feels like a group of people coming together to make something, and there's definitely a lot of originality and passion behind all of it. I'm not saying that there isn't behind the Suicide Mouse or whatever, but like you can tell there's way more effort put into this for the most part, especially with like the collective of the Skyverse mod itself, with the new Sky and then all the other Skies like Sky Blue and shit, just all in one. It's I wouldn't say refreshing, but it's nice to see.
Yeah, kind of going off that, I kind of noticed like a stark difference between the loads of new mods coming compared to, like, as we said, Suicide Mouse and Pibby, compared to all of them. And the one thing, again, this kind of goes off the things that you've been saying, is that with Sky, she's already a pre-established character in Friday Night Funkin'. Everyone knows who she is. We all know her controversial origins and everything like that. But compared to, let's say, Suicide Mouse, she's more of a malleable character. She was built in universe, in the whole, she had the drama and everything concerning the real person, but considering the character herself, not, excusing real life factors, she's a very malleable character because she doesn't really have anything to her. And so in this, people sort of use that untapped ability to create her into all these new different people. That could be either using her looks, certain parts of her personality, maybe disregarding the original like story of her and everything and make her into maybe a different character, how she interacts with different people. Because of her more open origins and her more open character, people are able to put this new light onto her. So, as you can see, there is a clear difference between, let's say, N64 Sky and Sky Blue. One with, they both have different arts, which gives, the artists a lot more open ability to be able to mess with these characters, mess with their looks, and mess with their story a little bit. Compared this to, again, as we said, Suicide Mouse. Suicide Mouse is a legend, an online legend, a creepypasta that has been around longer than some people have been around on the internet itself. So he already has a pre-established, set in stone lore of this, unseen, spooky tape that no one has ever seen before. When they went and viewed it, they farted too loud or something like that. And it kind of, when people see anything different or anything big, when people try to push the bar for a character like this, I think that people might be scared of scrutinization from others being like, oh, this isn't Suicide Mouse, this isn't, you're going too far off or something like that. And I think maybe because of that, and because of just, no offense to anyone, but just a lack of creativity and originality, that's the reason why we put so much shade on like these oversaturated mods like Pibby and all that, for example, because like it's either they already have a pre-established lore, or they didn't have that much to them to be able to change them in the first place, or nobody just did anything with them. And I think that's the reason why they became so overlooked and so oversaturated, and why people question why there were so many of them, because they just wouldn't change anything, no one would really do anything with them. But then you get Sky, who, of course, that you do have to expect that people are going to build some of the same things. There's going to be an oversaturation that comes with anything that's like this. Everyone's going to jump on the bandwagon. But this, you do get those people who do actually decide to put in the effort and the time to create new and exciting ways to be able to explore this character. And that's why I really think that when people look at Sky and like this new Skyverse mod, people could give it more of lenience. They can give it more of a chance because there are these people who come forward and be like, we're going to put our time and effort into this one character and make her good. Compared to, let's say, some up and coming mod creator or someone you know already who just creates this overdone, nothing changed version of Suicide Mouse, and it just gets completely overlooked and we just move on to the next one. And that's kind of like what I enjoy about it. And that's kind of like the one or two defining things is like creativity and the ability to play with such a malleable character.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Sky. One thing I do hope happens from this is because we've had Witty return from the depths, we've had Sky return now, and listen, I don't care what people say, mid-fight masses should come back. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I'd like to see a comeback from it. I think if people give it a fair chance and everything, because I think it was kind of overhated.
That way it
I
was
think
100% overhated.
it was definitely a product of its time. FNF was a new thing and there was still so much coming out by it. It isn't as set in stone as it is today. So I think if people go back to it and have a change with it and stuff like that, yeah, I definitely agree that people could actually find an appreciation and like, you know, outside of the small fandom who still surrounds it today.
Fair enough. So, yeah, Sky.
Ground.
So, it was supposed to be the 30th of this month, but that one has unfortunately fallen short as the update's been delayed indefinitely for FNF Week 8. Am I surprised? I was sort of surprised until I went into the Discord and I saw what Peak Juggler said about it, and now I'm not so surprised. In fact, I don't even know why there was a release date in the first place, considering how much is actually on that list of things to do for the game before it needs to release. So the delay, it makes sense, but I'm sure a lot of people aren't going to be happy about that for obvious reasons. But at the end of the day, you can't really like just force the update to come out. I mean, apparently it might be Ed's fault. I mean, you saw like the whole thing going on, you know. But I don't really care what it is. I just want to see something happen for the base game, because if something happens for the base game, it's going to improve the entire modding scene. Like, I heard they're doing like fixing the mod folder or whatever, and they're just doing a bunch of stuff to make the base game a lot better, as well as just in general just getting a new week and new characters, new stuff to see from the base game, you know?
I'm not all too pissed off as other people are, to be fairly honest. Like, I kind of treat the team kind of like how everyone treats Valve. You kind of just wait for them to release something despite how long they take, and it always comes out good in most cases. And also for the fact that it's a small team providing a massive thing. You know, you can hop back to other examples like Cuphead, where, you know, they started in 2010, said they were going to release in 2013, then 2014, and then, you know, eventually released in 2017 with everything that they put into it. It's kind of a similar deal. You know, there's a lot of artists and a lot of new things they're putting into this, and it's, you know, again, yeah, as you said, with what Peak said in the server, people just are trying to put loads of things into it now. The team are trying to improve everything, trying to get everything off the ground and make it worth it for I think that, like, I see this as like they're trying to make it worth it for the amount of time that they've been gone. They don't want to come back with something lackluster. They don't want to be gone for over a year and be like, week 8, you know, and everyone's going to hate it. I think that, like, yeah, seeing this laundry list of things they're trying to do and everything they're trying to improve on, I can kind of excuse it, and it's why I'm not really pissed off about it. You know, they're trying to put everything into this one small little game to be able to appease the entirety of the fandom. That's a lot of weight on your shoulders, even just thinking about it. So I kind of have to disagree with the people who are giving it so much slack. And honestly, I'm not really that surprised. I'm just kind of sitting there and waiting. I can be patient about it, even if it takes, I don't know, another month. You know, if it takes another year, then yeah, you'll be a bit concerned about it. But I don't know, let's say it takes another month, another 2 months. Sure, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. And when it eventually releases with all these new updates, you know, it can at least be satisfying in my case. Of course, like, you know, I think people are good with theorizing, like the Edgeworld stuff, you know, allusions to Hammer and Fail and the font being very similar to, the Edward font and everything. I think it's just pretty cool. And I just think that, people kind of need to stop harping on them so much. Put yourself with their shoes type thing. If you were making this massive game with a small development team for a fandom of, that size, you don't really want to have a security breach moment. Or, well, if it's just like hopping on back into the original people, you don't want to have a Five Nights at Freddy's 3 moment with so much hype and something a little bit lackluster coming out as the main thing. You don't want to make people disappointed. That's kind of how I see the whole week 8 delay thing.
Yeah, fair enough. If you don't mind, I'm just gonna read off some of the stuff which Peak Juggler put in chat. He said, Erect mode is gonna come with week 8, and Erect mode there's gonna be new art for every single week, as well as new remixes for every single song. So that's a lot of stuff to do. There's gonna be 2 separate builds, one for the demo and one for the full game. They have to ship the merch and the Kickstarter stuff, which is definitely not easy to do. They're working on the mod folder, so that works properly. A lot of redoing the spaghetti code and making sure it doesn't feel like a bunch of shit, and I don't know what polymod is, but he put it in there.
Haha, erect!
And they're also hiring out more people, obviously, because the other people are gone, bro. They're just gone.
Well, see ya.
But, if it is Edswald, that's pretty cool, but more time, I don't really mind what it is. Obviously, there's the leaks with Darnell or whatever from Pico School. And then, well, obviously, Edswald also made that tweet. I mean, it's all alluding to something, but it's probably going to be a complete 180, and it's going to be just something that nobody's ever seen before in their entire lives. Some dead fandom that's been dead for 50 years and has suddenly been risen back to life for some reason because Fred and Funkin was like, yeah, let's do a collab with that. But at the end of the day, we just have to wait until this indefinite hold is taken off and we get to see what actually comes out of it, because I was fully prepared to do a mod review on this, but bye-bye. There's not really much you can do about it at the end of the day, but I don't think people should be mad. I think we should just appreciate the fact that we're going to get a lot in the future. We're getting like a ton in the future. We're going to get so much. Like, just thinking about how big the full game is supposed to be, we're going to get a ton of content. I think we should just relax a little bit. Thanks for tuning into the 6th episode of Sunday Night Small Talk. At some point I'm going to forget what episode we're on, but that's not important. As I said, we got a review coming out for the Skyverse sometime soon, so stick around to see several blue-haired fangirls simping over boyfriend, girlfriend, or whoever the hell. See ya.
Subscribe or else.